Hello there. I just wanted to put down some ideas about astrological aspects here. Just some things that occur to me. I'm not a professional astrologer. It's something which I've studied, thought about, participated in since I was 14 years old. So that's almost 50 years now. But it's something which has always been so helpful to me, along with things like tarot. It's provided me means of understanding human functioning on one way, but it's also an interaction with something much broader than that. Of course, it isn't just psychology, but it does give you great insight into the psyche, though. Let's put it that way. And I think it's tremendously helpful. It provides a language that one can engage in and engage with, and it has great riches within it, and it has a great history, which is being uncovered still, actually, by various people now. So I think that's all really great. The thing that occurred to me today is really about the square aspects in the chart, and what does it mean when you've got a square between two planets? And how I think of this now and how it occurs to me is that squares make things conscious, and they make things conscious through certain kinds of difficulty that require you to become conscious about something. Yeah, and how I think that works is that with the planets basically being linked to energies that you experience. So, for instance, Mars is linked to a certain kind of drive, drive and desire nature. The Moon is linked to emotional stuff, to emotions, and is one of the gateways into the deeper parts of the psyche. But it is definitely related to feeling and emotion and response. It's an area which is kind of like very close to the borderline between body and psyche, or body and soul, if you see what I mean. Venus is very much a relating energy. It's a very strongly relating energy. It seeks union and harmony in various ways. Yeah. There are different ways of looking at these energies, but we experience them. And the thing is, when you have a square between two planets, it's as if the coordination or the harmonization between those two energies is something which you have to consciously learn. It doesn't come naturally. As it would say with a trine. With a trine, it's almost like it's inborn, it seems. Yeah. The relationship between the two energies, just it harmonizes and it works without you even having to think about it. So it can mean that a person with lots of trines is kind of like can be oddly unconscious in some ways. Yeah, it has its own pitfalls, because everything does. But with a square, those things don't seem to work. Yeah, they don't work automatically. So you have to learn them through experience. So squares are a great source of developing wisdom for a person. As I said with the trines seem to be have an automatic characteristic to them. And then the oppositions, it seems to me, they're about really realizing. In a sense, they're about realizing your oneness with life in part, yeah. But they're about seeing what you have disowned and thrown out there and put onto the world, and that it actually is part of you in a sense. So it's this sort of thing, That's how I'm, but vaguely seeing those sorts of things. But with the squares, again, because it's the squares that really led to me making this video. With the squares, these are things which you have to learn, And so you might do one part of the square and then find that, oh, the other part of the square has been completely left out, yeah, and then you get the bad effects of that, and then and then you've got to learn the other one. Then you do the other part of it, and then the first part gets left out, and you have to learn over time how to actually coordinate and balance both these things, if you see what I mean, and then you have a much more balanced life, and you've gained the wisdom of understanding consciously how you do this. It's a bit like the difference between somebody who is just is naturally talented and somebody who works at something. The person who works at it has an understanding of the process of getting there, which somebody else who has it naturally wouldn't. Yeah, and so there's a great value to squares. It's a great value to squares, and it gives people something to give, if you see what I mean, because it gives experience and it gives understanding. Anyway, those are my thoughts for today on those subjects. Hope you have a good